Investors are celebrating Tesla stock going up 10% in a single day. That's when I was celebrating when Tesla stock went down 10%, when it was close to $109, because, I was getting a huge discount that day. And here you go. Today, Tesla stock is up well over 10%. But investors have missed some major news. FSD v12.4 is a major improvement, and 12.5 is a whole other level. So Elon Musk is indeed making good on his promise that FSD should be shining bright by late April or early May. We knew that 12.4 is going to be a big improvement, but we didn't know about 12.5, so that's big news. And as endless good news came out after the earnings dropped, because this was posted right before the earnings started, most people completely missed this piece of news. Tesla stock is up massively because Elon guided for year-over-year growth in the auto business, and earlier that was expected to be negative or at least flat. New vehicle development has accelerated and will use existing production lines/capacity, so Tesla can make 3 million cars per year without building any new factories. We should expect a new vehicle from Tesla late this year or early in 2025, and it's actually going to be multiple models that are coming before the end of the first half of 2025, not one models. And if you like that and Tesla stock being up over 10% today, click the like button. And I think people are really excited about FSD licensing. Elon said there's a good chance we sign more than one deal with another automaker to license FSD this year, but will probably be at least 3 years before that automaker can integrate it. Although Elon has said before that Tesla was in conversations with an automaker about FSD licensing and nothing happened, but maybe this time it's going to be different because FSD v12 is making progress fast. And we also know that the unveil on August 8th will include a cyber cab robotaxi. Elon Musk believes that Tesla has so much momentum to solve autonomy right now that it will be solved regardless whether he stays at Tesla or is kidnapped by aliens. And this was about Elon having at least 25% of voting control. So he basically said, I can leave and it will be fine. He then sort of has to reapprove his compensation package. Elon also mentioned share buybacks, and that would be the best way, I think, for shareholders to give Elon Musk 25%. Tesla announced that they expect to return to being cash flow positive in Q2. And in terms of volume growth this year, which Elon Musk expects to be positive, either expect many price cuts or good marketing, or right now Tesla is getting a lot more orders already. It could also be a combination of all three. Tesla also reported really good auto margins and energy margins. The auto gross margin significantly beat the consensus expectations, and energy is over 24%, significantly beating auto margins. And Troy was only expecting 14.6% for the auto margin. So big shout out goes to Tesla reducing costs. Excluding regulatory credits, the margin was at 16.4%, so about 2% higher than what Troy estimated. And in just one quarter, Tesla increased AI training compute by more than 130%. That's one reason why FSD progress is so fast. And that's one reason why Tesla ended up with less cash this quarter than the last quarter. It spent $1 billion on AI infrastructure. Elon Musk predicts that Optimus will be doing factory tasks by the end of the year. Currently, it is doing factory tasks, but in the lab, and possibly it will be sold to other companies by the end of 2025. And by the end of the year, Tesla is planning to double its compute again. Here, Wall Street analysts happy about Tesla's earnings and that the new models are coming much sooner. About 4680s, Elon Musk is basically saying that making 4680s is just a hedge on the battery costs. And it appears to me that going forward, Tesla is not really going to put all that much emphasis on making batteries itself. I mean, they will continue to ramp it, and it is ramping, but the strategy seems to not be as focused on 4680s going forward. But Lars did say that we expect to beat supplier-based costs of nickel-based cells by the end of the year. James is also thrilled overall. Tesla is planning to round the Lathrop factory to its full capacity. Elon is trying to make it so you can buy a Tesla in 1 minute. A lot of cost-cutting efforts are happening right now. Despite what Elon said, Gene Munster does not believe that sales will be up for Tesla this year. He still thinks they will be down 5% year over year. We know that Tesla is going to launch a ride-hailing service within the Tesla app, so you won't need to download anything new, and you will be able to let your vehicle give rides only to people that have 5-star scores or to your friends and family. This way you can keep your car nice and clean. As a long-term investor, this was extremely bullish to me. Elon basically said that Tesla constitutes the majority of my wartime. I work every day of the week. I'm going to make sure Tesla is very prosperous. And I think right now we are seeing that Elon Musk is indeed spending a lot more time at Tesla, and I think the progress is being made at this very moment fast. And I expect the growth to come back soon as the new models launch and as autonomy gets better. Anyway, Ross Gerber found something to nitpick. He doesn't like the free cash flow being negative right now. He does not like Tesla investing lots of money, I guess. He said the best part of the Tesla call is how much more money Nvidia is going to make. And he said as long as Tesla shareholders are fine with a much less profitable version of the company, then this vision works fine, says Ross. And just from Cybertruck production, Tesla is now generating $100 million in revenue every week and is going to accelerate fast. Notice how many times I have said fast today. And by the way, this is why Tesla hasn't done a share buyback. Tesla knows it needs to invest a lot of money going forward. So not doing a share buyback, I think so far has been the right move. I like this chart from AJ. Tesla's 20% delivery reduction in Q1, which was significantly driven by one-off effects, compares quite favorably against selected global peers and BEV sales. You can see Tesla is right here, and most companies have done quite a bit worse. Argentina offers tax exemptions to Tesla. Companies looking to set up factories to produce electric vehicles in Argentina will not have to pay taxes for 10 years. However, they will have to employ more than 75% of the local workforce. And they mentioned that they are waiting a response from Tesla. I don't think Tesla is going to build an EV factory in Argentina. I'm not even sure about a Megapack factory, but it's good to see an offer from the country. Tesla is set to cut 3,300 jobs in California, including 550 employees from its Lathrop Megapack factory. It said in multiple worker adjustment and retraining notification notices, but we did hear from Tesla on the earnings call after this news came out that they are ramping the factory. So they are just making things more efficient, which makes this not bad news at all. Good news, actually, because it should increase Tesla's margins. I do feel sorry for these people who are let go, though. And we are hearing from Giga Berlin now that Tesla is going to cut 400 Giga Berlin employees. The only somewhat off-putting thing that Elon Musk said to some investors is if someone does not believe Tesla will solve autonomy, they should not be an investor in the company, but we will, and we are. I think Wall Street largely just ignores statements like that, though. It seems like Tesla Auto will be the name of the Tesla ride-hailing network and Cybercab. We found out that is going to be a dedicated robotaxi vehicle. One thing that we have no clue about, so that compute, how much of that is NVIDIA and how much of that is Dojo? Because it's just equivalent, H100 equivalent GPUs. And Ashok mentioned Dojo node. So how is Dojo progressing? We didn't hear anything about that yesterday. But here's a theory. I think they downplayed Dojo either since it is not quite there or because Musk and NVIDIA CEO agreed to keep a low profile over it to keep the perception that NVIDIA is the only show in town. Jensen may reciprocate by keeping Tesla in the front of the line with GPU supply. But my guess is the latest spike is not just Dojo. And at one point, Elon Musk said 35,000 H100 specifically, not H100 equivalents. And they said they were building towards 85,000 H100s by the end of the year. Razat says, what I just heard is that Tesla is getting car batteries for very, very cheap because everyone else can't make EVs profitably. The long-term advantage of this is insane. Elon reiterated his bullishness on Optimus. He thinks it will be more valuable than everything else combined. Elon also said that Q2 will be a lot better, and he continued, if you have got cars that are sitting on ships, they obviously cannot be delivered to people. He was talking about Q1. Anyway, next time, let's ask Tesla about Dojo. I do agree that mostly the stock rallying today has little to do with FSD, although to me, Elon's comment that 12.5 is going to be on another level compared to 12.4, which is already going to be much better than what we have currently available. That to me is very bullish, but I don't think the street really sees it as bullish yet. I think launching new models much sooner and positive year-over-year growth, these things are really driving the stock up together with higher auto margins. From what I see, the thing that people are the most disappointed about is the 4680 ramp, and Elon saying it's just a hedge going forward basically, but James says it is progressing well just the same. Maybe it will be a hedge for a few years at least since battery costs have plummeted. Gary Black basically agrees with everything I have said so far in this video. He especially liked the high margins despite inventory discounts. And all in all, one of Elon's best conference calls, even if the actual results came in a tad light. He's talking about earnings per share. By the way, Tesla's energy gross margin, if we compare to the previous year, it is up 123% year over year. That's huge. But Tesla did warn us yesterday about that business being lumpy, so I do not expect linear growth in that business. And Sawyer also agrees this was the best Tesla earnings call in a while. Dave agrees too. Tesla earnings call was great, but I just want FSD V12.4 in my car. There's something so exciting and riveting about trying out the most cutting-edge real-world AI in your own vehicle. And I personally, I want 12.5. We know 12.4 is going to be better, but 12.5, according to Elon, is going to be on another level. And he has been right so far in the last few months about how FSD is progressing. Martin Viecha is going to be stepping down and leaving Tesla. He managed Tesla's investment relations. Martin did a good job, but I think Tesla will definitely be fine, and we will have another person who will probably do very well. Oh my God. Reuters said that Tesla CFO is resigning. Reuters. He is not a CFO. He is a VP of Investor Relations. But it's not a big deal because, as we all know, it's definitely only the first fake news story ever reported by Reuters. So, is it really so shocking? I mean, give them a pass this one time. Except it's not the first time. Many times like that happens. Or wait, it could be that he got promoted before he resigned. That would make sense. So who is the most accurate Tesla retail analyst right now, predicting earnings per share specifically? Well, it's James the Cat. Troy is number 2 currently, Gary is number 3, and the street consensus is number 4. So a big shout out goes to James. And here's a different chart. It's basically the same thing, but instead of looking at the last 6 quarters, we look at the last 4 quarters, and then the Tesla Economist becomes number 2, but James is still clearly number 1. Oh, and of course, ARK Invest is buying more Tesla stock. This news is a bit controversial among some. Tesla's Giga Texas factory will no longer be subject to City of Austin environmental regulations after the company used a new state law to have the property removed from the city's extraterritorial jurisdiction. And I say it's controversial because some, for example, like Electric, are reporting this story like this: Tesla skirts Austin's environmental rules at Texas Gigafactory. But Tesla is not breaking any laws here. I think that's important. Tesla is about to let go of 2,700 Giga Texas workers. This came out yesterday night. Tesla cut prices across the entire lineup in Canada, but that's because there were no price cuts while all of these price cuts were happening in the US and all over the place. So I don't think this comes as a surprise to anyone. But yeah, the prices are now significantly lower, but the Model Y was only cut by $1,000. Here's a quick summary of everything. Yeah, I don't think anyone is going to be surprised by this. Morgan Stanley put out a new note. They still have questions about near-term growth. I think with these news from yesterday, I would expect some price target increases to come out soon. Tesla is collecting a lot of FSD data. Tesla added 0.3 billion cumulative FSD miles in less than 20 days. So we're going to reach 2 billion this summer. But a large amount of that came from free trials. So I don't expect the trend to continue as fast as it did for a bit of time just now. Currently, Tesla owners are driving on average 14.7 million miles on FSD per day, a 250% increase from 3 months ago. So that's 1 billion miles every 68 days. And Elon said, "I'd like to strongly recommend that anyone thinking about Tesla stock should really drive FSD 12.3. It's impossible to understand the company if you do not do this." Dave Lee agrees. And Stephen Ryan says, "There's a reason I will not shut up about autonomy and why I went berserk after the V12 demo and have not shut up since. If you can't sit in a Tesla and experience FSD V12.3, the next best thing is to watch and analyze hours, and I mean literally hours of video of people using FSD V12.3. But it's better to drive yourself because when you watch a video, you just never quite know how often did they actually disengage, how many times did they film before they actually got this video. But when you try it yourself, you know exactly how good it is. And where I live, it's pretty good. There's still a lot of work to be done, of course, but progress is insane. Tesla shared a few images about its ride-hailing app, and this is a Model Y, but it says 4 passengers max. Now, we know that The Model Y has 5 seats. So this hints at the robotaxi network, or this ride-hailing network, first being supervised by humans in the vehicles. So Tesla is launching a direct Uber competitor. And we are seeing Tesla hiring drivers to supervise FSD as people use it for rideshare. These supposedly are vehicle operators. And now even some people that sometimes can be skeptical about Tesla after trying V12, skepticism seems to be reduced. And I keep seeing many people like that. And we are seeing some people say that I am 100% continuing my FSD at $99 a month. It's just too much fun and it's only going to get better. Here's some good news for Tesla. Tesla owner who falsely claimed car was in autopilot before a Melbourne crash pleads guilty. The defense attorney conceded his client had lied to police by making the false claim that the autopilot feature was activated. Now imagine how it feels to have sold Tesla stock yesterday. And now see it go up today so much. I'm genuinely sad for people who panic sold and believe Tesla has the ability to create generational wealth for people, but managing the emotional highs and lows is part of the journey, and we are not out of the woods yet. This won't be a straight shot up from here because investing isn't easy.
But you say the actual earnings number, believe it or not, they're just background noise. It's not really that all important. So I want to ask you, is the Model 2, is that really a game changer? Is that what's pushing this stock higher this morning?
100%. People like me who are bullish on the stock can finally take their paper bags off their heads. But yeah, basically all the expectations coming into the quarter, there were some news articles that came out of Reuters saying that they were going to shelve this Model 2. And the fear there is you would have years without any growth, right? Because the Model 3 and the Model Y have slowed significantly. So not only is the Model 2 happening, but it's going to actually be accelerated by making the cars on existing facilities instead of new facilities to be built. So yeah, so a lot of those fears that came into the print that people were so worried have completely evaporated. If anything, now folks are looking at an accelerated pace.
And therefore, I would expect a few price target updates to come out soon.
So Tom, I want to ask you, because the way you phrased it is that the fact that in your mind, building the Model 2 on an existing platform, that's a good thing. I've heard other people say, well, that's just not really a good thing because it's not creating a unique vehicle, but you're okay with that. Just very quickly, that's fine in your mind?
Yeah, I think so. Because for me, that car was never going to be about its own profitability. A lot of other folks had that. For me, it's about selling autonomy. We just need more Teslas on the road so they can sell FSD.
So your price target for Tesla, $294. It implies a more than 75% upside. So you are very bullish, much more bullish than the street average of 189. So give me a sense. When it comes to the Model 2, when it comes to the robotaxi, when it comes to Optimus, the energy story business, rough percentages, just rough sense. How are you factoring each one of those into your price target? What's the most important thing?
Yeah, so I actually haven't changed all that much. It's 60% is robotaxi. It has been for about a year now. FSD is about 20%. Megapacks is about 10%. And then less than 10% is actually the cars.
To me, Tesla's vehicle business is a bit like an insurance policy to prevent my investment in the long term from losing its value. In an absolute worst case, that autonomy is significantly delayed. And if you look at Toyota, which I believe eventually Tesla will outsell and beat in terms of vehicle quality and reliability and features and price and everything, Toyota's market cap today stands at $310 billion. So I don't think that in the long term, Tesla's auto business is going to be just $50 billion. I definitely don't think so. But most of Tesla's profits will come from FSD and autonomy, and that's where the huge gains in the long term are.
So wait, the Model 2 is a game changer, but it's less than 10% of your thesis for a $294 price target?
No, because the car itself is not a game changer, but the fact that it can sell FSD, that makes it a game changer, which then translates into level 4 robotaxis down the future because now the software is proven. Yeah, so I want to differentiate FSD from robotaxi. FSD is just a level 2 plus, which is an amazing product on the road where you're driving the car and it assists you. Robotaxi, I do believe will be 100% level 4. It is a far away from now, no doubt about it. Could be a decade away. Cities will have to re-engineer themselves to allow for them to happen, but make no mistake, they are happening. The reason for my bullishness isn't that it's going to happen right around the corner, but that it's going to happen way down the road. But it's such a big transformational event that you discount back the revenue stream and the multiple on that because it's a software business, and you get tremendous value from this product.
Just for the audience, Tom, very quickly, you said level 4, not level 5. Level 5 is the highest level. That means the vehicle just really drives on its own. So just very quickly, when you say level 4, what does that mean for a practical sense?
I think level 5 is like science fiction. Just get that out of your mind. Car's not going to just take you to wherever. I mean, level 4 just means it's driving you, but it's on a road, or it's in a dedicated path, or it's somewhat geofenced to some extent.
I disagree with Tom there. I mean, seeing the progress of FSD, eventually it is going to be sold and it will be fully autonomous and it will be able to take you anywhere you like. It won't have to be geofenced eventually.
Tesla needed an adult in the room, and Musk was the adult in the room on this conference call. The big thing, the most important thing is that they are not going just straight to autonomy. A Model 2, a sub 30K vehicle will be out, and that's accelerated. And that's music to the ears of the street. You went in, investors were expecting a disaster and another comedy show conference call. Instead, you actually have a pilot on the plane navigating, and it's not Ted Stryker.
I listened to a few bears as well today, and even some bears did say that Elon Musk indeed did a good job on the conference call.
I agree with Dan. Elon did a, Tesla, what I call Tesla Elon, which is the Elon that people like in this call, which was definitely necessary. And he certainly didn't poo-poo the idea of having a $25,000 or less model, which is irrelevant of the financial deterioration of the overall fundamentals of the company. So I think if you look at Tesla, like robots and robot cars, and obviously thinking that this is going to happen in 12 months is probably a little bit aggressive. And we all know that Elon's timelines are usually 3 to 4 years aggressive.
I personally would not expect anything this year. Even though Elon Musk said that this year it's possible that a new model could come out, I would expect new models to come next year, not this year. But I will be happy if it happens this year.
But that said, that vision long-term is wonderful. It's just the transition to this and what it will look like financially. It seems for sure that shareholders will be sacrificed for mass adoption of EV vehicles. So profits and margins that we expected on Tesla will continue to probably go lower, even though volumes might go higher.
Ross, back to you, because you posted something on the Elon Musk-owned X today, and you said, here's the problem. The problem is that Tesla is not making money selling cars anymore. Right. Now, I'm going to ask an insane question, because that's what we do. Why not, right? Which is, do they need to make money selling cars? And hear me out. Number one, you got all the credits, selling those. But GM and Ford, they need to make money selling cars because that's what they do. And if they didn't do that, then there is no GM and Ford. Tesla is not them. They've got the AI infrastructure. They've got the Optimus robots. They got the robo-taxis. They got all the other stuff coming. Is there a, quote, razor blade model on the Tesla automotive side where they can sell cars at cost and still make billions, or no?
No. And I look at it as like the Apple model. Apple purposely doesn't give away phones, even though they make a ton on services. And if you look at Tesla's services revenue was up 25%. So it's a very similar model, but should Apple just give away iPhones to make sure that everybody has an iPhone versus making the 40% margins and being one of the most valuable companies in the world? So once again, as long as Tesla shareholders are fine with a much less profitable version of the company, then this vision works fine. But I think, there's a difference between owning a Tesla and buying a Tesla and being a shareholder.
I disagree with Ross in terms of what he's talking about, saying that this is not important. I mean, because I could argue Tesla over the coming years could be one of the biggest AI companies out there. And look, for Musk...
Yeah, but Elon said he's not going to build it unless he has 25%. That's the problem.
Yeah, but again, if you look at this conference call and how he laid out the vision, Ross, and obviously all the criticism going in, if there were 5 things that he needed to show, I think he showed all of them. I actually think investors, and I've heard from some, come out of this conference call viewing Tesla dramatically different than the train wreck, and we've talked about it, that it felt like the last few months. And again, it goes back to finally there was an adult in the room, and Musk
Dan,
stepped up.
you're discounting the end of the call with Martin resigning, and you and I have been working with Martin for a long time, and he is the glue in management and shareholders and investors, and he continues to lose seasoned top executives during this really important transition, and I find that to be concerning. Despite I do agree, the vision he laid out is one that we've invested in and hope happens, but it just seems like there's this talk and vision, and then there's this like reality we're seeing under it, which just doesn't look anything like the talk.
Yeah, and I think now it's really approved me going forward in terms of for Tesla. But if you look at how they've laid it out with the vehicle, the sub 30K being accelerated into next year, the FSD in terms of laying out the AI vision, I believe right now you have just dramatically bad news baked in for what I believe, could ultimately be a company that's worth $1 trillion, $1.5 trillion, $2 trillion when you look out in the next 4, 5, 6 years.
I personally think that in pretty much almost all cases with executives leaving Tesla in the last few months, I think almost all of them are because Tesla is laying people off and Elon told a few people, hey, look, you got to step down. This is not working. You're not performing. Now, I'm not sure about Martin's case. Maybe that's a bit different. But in Drew Baglino's case, I think that's probably what happened. 4680s have not made a lot of progress, at least not as much as how much Elon promised years earlier. And Elon is coming in, cleaning up house, letting people go. Previously, the speculation was, well, these executives are leaving because Elon Musk is going balls to the wall with autonomy. And it has completely canceled the cheaper vehicles. But now we are learning, no, these vehicles are not canceled. In fact, they are coming out sooner. So you cannot make the argument anymore that these executives have left because of this conflict. No, Tesla is still going to do both. It will pursue autonomy as well as cheaper vehicles. But with a lot of these executives, Elon, of course, has a pretty good relationship, a long relationship. So I think it just makes sense just from a relationship point of view. Hey, look, let's make it look like we're on good terms and we're not going to say that we fired you. Obviously, you contributed a lot over the years, so let's just make this transition easy for you. I think that's what happened in most cases. Not in every single case, but in most cases, yes. Because also, as I showed previously, some of these executives were posting publicly statements about the future in a way that makes it sound like they will still be involved in the company in the future. So I think a lot of them were caught off guard with the layoffs, some of them. And make sure that you like the video. That's going to be it for today's news, by the way. The likes really help with the shadow ban, which was put on my big channel, where about 50% of my viewers were not shown my new videos as they came out. So I'm posting on this channel right now, and so far it's been working because you guys are clicking the like button, and that's really helping. So please do that if you haven't yet, if you enjoyed this video and if you appreciate the daily episodes from me. And I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Thank you so much for watching.